Alright, well, I know I'm a little bit late. It's been a tiring week, but I guess they're all tiring weeks. And there can be a lot of times when I don't really feel like doing this, but um, I, I did kind of make a promise that I would be here. And well, I'll explain a bit more of that some other time. Um, so yeah, let's get on with the show and continue to talk about me, or start, I guess. And that really brought up an interesting question. And you've got a really great story, and I think my life does make a pretty interesting story. As a writer, if any of you have ever spent a lot of time writing, and I used to, you kind of wonder where the best place to start everyone off is. And sometimes you start with a plot twist, and the reader thinks they know what's going on, and then you kind of explain it, and they have more understanding, and that's kind of neat. Or sometimes you start at the climax, partway into the story, and then you loop back to the beginning and explain it, and make it more meaningful by the time it happens. So, there are a lot of possibilities as to where I could start you guys off at. But I guess it's been a really long time since I have written anything seriously. So I really think, there's no harm going with the classic approach. I'll just start you guys off from the beginning. So here's where it all started. So it's 1989. I'm 4 years old. And, well, over the course of the show, it may become apparent that memories are something I treasure a lot. But for today, let's be pretty clear, I don't remember a lot about being 4. I remember living on Platts Lane past the tunnel in London, Ontario, a few blocks from Britannia Avenue, which is where I would eventually spend my childhood. And I remember my toy tricycle, and that's about it. But people often fill in what you forget, so I think when I was 4, I learned to play the violin. Though my first violin was made out of cardboard because, didn't want me breaking anything expensive. And I think apparently I was chubby, and because I wasn't picky with food. And that's about all I know. Anyways, I'm sure that's cute and all, but as with any Josh story, there's usually something epic lying around if you're willing to look. And, well, it kind of seems all too ironic that maybe the most poignant snapshot of my life is something that I don't remember. Someone actually had to tell me. So, a couple of years ago, my mom told me a story about my first time in daycare. You know daycare, right? That place they send you as a kid to go have fun while your parents go to work or something. There's not really much to daycare. In the morning, they gather all the kids up and they try and give you some sort of instructions, and well, I'm sure not every kid understood them, and really we were just waiting for the go-ahead to go play. So some kids would, they're block kids, so they go play with the blocks, or some kids really like to paint, so they go to the paint station. I don't remember what else there was. I think there was like a rocking horse and probably some toys or stuffed animals or something. Yeah, what was I talking about? Right, so my mom tells me this story where, it was my first time there, and she came to pick me up, and she talked to the staff there, and apparently they mentioned that all the other kids ran off to play, but I kind of just stood there. I just kind of watched. I just watch the other kids play with their stuff. And after watching, I guess, each group of kids do their own thing, at that point I kind of decided what I liked, and then I went to go play. It's a pretty simple story, but I think if you stick around, maybe you'll see what I saw, which is within that story is me. I think if you dissect it, that little bit right there encompasses pretty much my entire life. So I hope that's interesting or something. Oh, there was one more thing. I tend to forget about it most of the time, but I guess you could call it the first thing I ever liked, and I liked it a lot. My mom will remind me about it every now and then. I really liked ladybugs. I thought they were pretty awesome. I don't know, I would draw them, think about them, want to go find them and hold them. I don't know, I was never really an insect guy, and I'm still definitely not, but there was something about ladybugs. Yeah. Lawman put him away. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of keep track of me learning guitar. Maybe this will be a huge mistake. No, I'm pretty confident. It's fun to explore, just kind of how to finger things. It's not laid out like a classical stringed instrument. It's a bit different. So just trying to figure out how to make certain sounds that I'm already familiar with on the piano, but just trying to figure out how to do it on a guitar has been pretty enjoyable. Right, so what have I been kind of fooling around with? Let's see. I think there's some other ideas in there. If I turn the distortion up. So that was pretty fun I just kind of ran across that feeling randomly. So it was fun to write something happy, even if it was by accident. Right, so I mean the show is, another part of it is about finding my own sound, and yeah, I think it'll be fun, and we'll see. I mean, maybe after a year, I still won't have found it, but I'll keep looking. So I'll see you next week. Ugh, I almost forgot a quote. Let's see. Okay, how about this one? To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. To not dare is to lose oneself. And that's a quote by Soren Kierkegaard.